Videos we've gone over rate, time, and distance word problems and rate, time, and word problems using a table. In this lesson, I'll show you how to use a similar table for unit price questions, or for example, questions like where something costs 70 cents a pound. The table is very similar. We'll make a table where we'll keep track of the price that something costs, the price of it, or the unit price, the quantity, that is how many of those things you're buying or selling, and the total um, cost. What you have to remember is that the unit price times the amount that you times the quantity of that you're buying or selling is equal to the total. So let's use an example. Let's take a look at statement one to see how this works. So in this question, we're told that at store X, onions cost 70 cents per pound. That's the unit price. That is price per unit, how much it costs per pound. How much would Amy pay for 14 pounds of onions? This gives us the amount of units. So to set up the table, we'll say, okay, we have price, quantity, total. Whoops. The price is 70 cents. The quantity is 14 pounds. So because price times quantity equals total, what the total price is 70 cents times 14. So that's 0.7 times 14. When you multiply with decimals, just forget about the decimal for a second. So 7 times 14, that's 7 times 10, which is 70. 7 times 4, which is 28. 70 plus 28 is 98. And then you have to remember that you have one place after the decimal, so we need one place after the decimal in our answer. So that's going to be 9.8 or $9.80 because this is 70 cents. So let's see how it works in another example of this table. We're told that if each pen costs $1.60, how many pens can Jeff buy with $8? We have, when you see that you have a word problem that gives you a unit price, in other words, gives you some sort of identical, some sort of items that are identical, like pens that are each the same, and they have an identical price, you can use this table. So we're told that the pens cost $1.60. That's means that we can set up our table. Our unit price is $1.60. Each pen is $1.60. Each indicates a unit price. How many pens can Jeff buy with $8? We're not told the quantity. That's what we're asked. So we'll put a variable there. We are told the total cost, or the total amount of money Jeff has that he's going to spend, and that's 8. And so to find the total quantity, remember that price times quantity equals total, so we can set up our equation. $1.60 times x is equal to 8. We'll divide both of these by $1.60, divide this by 1.6, so these cancel out. Now when you're dividing by a decimal, a good thing to do would be to multiply by 10 as many times as necessary until you, so this is 80, until you get rid of the decimal. Multiplying by 10 moves the decimal to the right, gives us a 0 here, and so we have 80 over 16. Now it'd be good if you knew that 80 divided by 16 is 5, but if you didn't know that right off the bat, you can reduce, for example, by 2 and you get 40 over 8. You should know your times table, that 40 divided by 8, or 8 times 5 is 40. This gives us 5 over here, but you can keep reducing if that's, so this is going to be 20 over 4, and then divide by 2 again. This is 10 over 2. It's a little unwieldy because of lack of space, but that gives us 5 again. Let's take a look at question number 3. So Ben spent $52 on 4 shirts. If Sandy buys 10 shirts at the same price per shirt, this indicates that we're dealing with a unit price question. In other words, question where there's identical prices for identical items, which indicates that you can use this table. So the question is, how much will that cost her, these 10 shirts? Well, let's set up our table. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller because I'm going to need 2 rows. So we have PQT. So Ben spent $52 on 4 shirts. This is not a unit price. That's the, so I'm going to make another row action over here. This is for Ben. Ben spent a total of 52 on 4 shirts. What is the price? Well, again, price times quantity equals total. So we have P times 4 is equal to 52, which is, we divide by 4, we divide by 4. This gives us 13. So the price is 13. Now for Sandy, she buys 10 shirts at the same price per shirt. So at P, but we've shown that P is 13, so the price per shirt is 13. How much will that cost? We want to know the total, and that's just again price times quantity total. If she's buying 10 shirts and each cost 13 bucks, she's going to spend 130 bucks, and that's our answer. Let's take a look at the last example to show how the table, like with the rate times distance questions, rate times work questions, we can use the table to fill in the cells a little bit more quickly. So if X toy trucks cost Y dollars, then at this rate, how much would 30 toy trucks cost? The fact that we're given a rate indicates we can use our rate table. A price per unit, that's just a rate. It's a type. It's a type of rate. It's a ratio of the money to quantity. So if X toy trucks cost Y dollars, set up our table. So we have price, quantity, total. I'll need to make this smaller as well because we'll use 2 rows. Well, X is the amount of toy trucks. That's the quantity. Y dollars, that goes in the total column. It's not Y dollars per truck. It's a total cost of Y dollars for X trucks. So what is our price per truck? Well, we know that price times quantity equals total, but what's helpful about using this table, and hopefully you remember this from the rate time distance and rate time work table, is that if you're missing the rate or you're missing the quantity and you know the total, you can divide. So total divided by quantity gives you the price. In other words, if I'm reading right to left, I'm dividing. So the price here is Y divided, the price per truck is Y divided by X. This is for X toy trucks. So I'm going to put this is for X. For 30 toy trucks, well, the quantity is 30, and it's the same rate. So it's Y over X, which means we multiply these two, and we get Y over X times 30 as the total cost for 30 toy trucks. So to recap, the price quantity total table is exactly the same as the rate time distance or rate times work table. We use it the same way. And we use it in questions where you're given a price per unit.